about cleaning your beer lines, I can already hear the groans of, oh my gosh, what a terrible topic. But let's face it, how many of you honestly have never cleaned your beer lines? I'll say I was one of those guys for a long time. And in fact, the first time I cleaned my lines, I couldn't believe the junk that came out. I was so glad no one else could see it. Anyway, I started thinking about it, and I think the reason why people don't clean their lines is because it's a hassle. It's a job where you might need something like this, where it's leaking all over the place and kind of hard to change and just not very effective. No, I shouldn't say that. It's effective, but it's a hassle, so you don't use it. So I used that for a while. Then you can kind of move up to something different where you've got a pressurized system. This works pretty good, but again, you're pumping, you're doing a lot of manual process, you're doing one line at a time, and it just, again, is enough to make you not want to do it. At least it was for me. What can I do with the existing equipment that I already have and be able to quickly and easily clean my beer lines without a lot of hassle? So I thought, okay, I've already got a kettle. I can warm water in it. It's got a valve on it, so that's kind of handy. I already have these pumps that you see me use, a little 12-volt pump. What about hooking this together somehow, connecting it to my beer line, and have something that circulates the cleaning agent throughout the line without me having to even participate? So that's what I'm going to show you today. The other thing I'm going to talk about are the actual cleaners you use. And again, you guys have probably seen my videos and know, I don't evangelize one over the other. Use the one that you like. If you like Oxy, you can clean your beer lines with Oxy. PBW is another very worthwhile alternative. I myself like to use Beer Line Cleaner, BLC. It's a low-grade acid that when effectively done, especially as I'm going to show you today, it really cleans your lines like they're brand new. So again, whatever materials you want to use, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to show you a concept that works for me that I think you might be interested in. And that way, when you go to serve a beer to your friends, you can have a nice, wonderful, clean line that it's going through. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Here are the taps that we're going to clean. And as I said, using something like this, it might be effective enough, but it really is a hassle. By the time you clean, then rinse, then clean the next, and rinse, and so on and so forth, you just don't even want to do it. So that wasn't a good alternative. What I'm going to show you today is I'm going to easily circulate through 2 taps at one time, and then rinse and do the next 2 and the final one. So in order to be able to circulate, it's going to add a hose between 2 of the handles. You note I selected a hose I can just use a pressure fit on, so no clamps or other required hardware. Make sure both handles are open, and we'll pump from the outside through one, return through the other, circular fashion, let it go on autopilot, and then move over to the next 2. So let's give it a shot. Now I should go into my setup a little bit so you understand how it works. This is our party house, and because of that, I don't have the kegs hooked up permanently. Let's go outside and I'll show you how it works. Down here, I simply put an ice chest out with my kegs in it and connect these lines to it, and that gives me the access to beer that I want for any given event. Hence the reason I really need to clean them each and every time I'm done. What I'm doing over here right now is heating up the water. I'm going to go about 120 degrees. Just want it really quite warm to help in the cleaning. When I come back, I'll have the pump connected, I'll have the first beer line connected, and we'll be ready to turn it on. Okay, I have everything configured here. This output is going to my tap number 1. This return line is coming from tap number 2. I have a little under an ounce of beer line cleaner, so that's all set. Let's just turn it on and we'll see what happens. Open our valve. And now power on. And we'll start circulating. Come inside real quick and take a look. We can watch both halves of this. You can see the fluid going through the lines right now. A little bit of leaking, that'll stop. And come back over here. And the first of the return starts coming back in. And again, this will allow me to run through lines 1 and 2. And once those are done, I'll just move over and do 3 and 4. And when those are complete, I'll come back and I'll do my rinse. So getting all the air out right now. It'll continue to run this way. And I won't have to do any manual interaction for the entire time. So let's give it 10 minutes on this one side. We'll come back and we'll move it over to the next. There we go. I took the time to get all the air out of the line. And you can see the flow rate is much faster, much more consistent. Either way, it gets the job done. We're moving the cleaner through the line and it's doing its job. We'll be done here in just a few minutes with very little level of effort. So we're about done with the recirculation here. And what I hope you can see just visually is how nice that line looks. Keep in mind I've been cleaning these pretty regularly for the last several years after my initial avoidance of the topic. And you can just see how brand new they look. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and change to taps 3 and 4, do the same thing, then recirculate my rinsing water, and I'll be done. So again, this is how easy it can be using the equipment that you already have and get really